Okay. Good morning, everyone. So, planning we were discussing yesterday. So, I was discussing with you types of plan. Okay, just come one by one. Okay, I mean one means take two. We will discuss, then we will go because yesterday already I just informed you. Uh, we have taken yesterday the types of in types of plan, the five. One is your imperative plan. Second is your indicative plan. Third one is centralized plan, fourth one is decentralized plan, and fifth one we have taken the ruling plan. Clear? I discussed with you yesterday, just given you one simple informations to you. The imperative plan basically practiced in India up to 7-5-year plan. Why we are saying up to 7-5-year plan? Because reason is that already reforms strategy started in 7-5-year plan. But that was only in a particular sector, that is industrial sector, not in the overall economy. In overall economy, we implemented in 8-5-year plan, which is under the LPZ model. But that time in 7-5-year plan, okay, the government taken initiative and they tried to reform the industrial sector, okay, to some extent. So an 8-5-year plan is your first 5-year plan based on indicative plan, okay, based on your indicative plan. And 8-5-year plan till today, you can see we are basically following the indicative plan. Now, what is the concept of imperative plan and indicative plan? Imperative plan, just to understand, it is the planning framework where each and every direction the government or government agency is directing you. You have to do that, you have to invest there, this much you have to invest, you can produce this. So in very restricted structure under the government created framework, you have to work, you have to go. Okay, and if you see that after independence, since we implemented the socialist pattern of development, where the government was the key decision maker, okay, and government was taking all the most of the decisions, okay, based on the need. So you can see in the earlier development in Indian economy, before economic reforms, most of the industries developed under the framework of the, you can say the developed under the government or PSCs, you can say. TISCO, you can take the example, but TISCO is before your independence that already developed, but government nationalized so many things, so many like the airways, government nationalized. Earlier it was Air India, it was the, Tata was the owner. But it in the name, we nationalized and we have taken under the control of it came under the government, control of the government. But overall, the most of the development, it was under the government, or you can say PSUs was under the government basically. But 1991 approach differ. So till your A7 5-year plan, the nature of planning in India or plan implementation nature, it was imperative in nature. Clear? when we implemented economic reforms and we decided to adopt the capitalist pattern of development, then the role of private players, we have basically we given more space to private investors to come and invest in the country in the core economic activities. And just you can see today everywhere the private sectors entered and they are operational now. Your airways you take, roadways you take, okay. But it's true, and industry, even the defense sector, you are knowing that even the ordnance factories, it was handed over to the private parties, okay, on the basis of lease, but you have given to the private parties, they are now operating it. Okay, so few sectors only, say atomic energy and railway operations till now, it is under the purely under the government. So railway operations, yeah, on already on trial basis, government is started. But it was asked in the parliament, but government refused. There is no plan to go for privatization. But it's true also that it is fact also that the government already on the trial basis they are started, okay, they are operating just like the private sector, okay. So let us wait, but till it's officially not announced, we can't say, we can't write it. That things we have to remember, okay. So other than these two, in all the sectors, the private sectors are allowed. That is why, because the in 1981 initiative we have taken the LPG model, that is liberalizations, privatization and globalization. Dear, when you are going to depend on private investments, when you are going to depend on private investment, then you have to give more freedom. More freedom. Why? Because private investors can only invest if they are getting freedom, if they are getting incentives for investments and other requirement what they need. If you are providing that, then only you can get the private investment. And that's one of the reason that after 1981, the demand was indicative planning. Okay. So since after economy reforms, the economy need, I mean that time economy need the different type of plan, that is an indicative plan. So finally, the government implemented the indicative planning, where the government changed their role from controller and regulator to facilitator. Okay, controller and regulator to facilitator. They changed their role, and now they're moving. And why I'm telling, just you can understand one thing. In this budget, the government announced ease of doing business two, ease of doing, and ease of doing a part two in this budget. The budget which was presented on 1st Feb 2022. And September 2014, the Make in India was introduced in India. Okay, September 2014. And if you read that, the Make in India program, then Make in India program is based on 4 pillars. One of the pillar and main thing is what? Ease of doing business. Because government realized that creating ease of doing business environment is very necessary for growth and development, particularly when you are thinking about the growth and development should, I mean, so you can achieve through the help of the private capital, then you have to go and you have to adopt it, give the freedom. And freedom in sense what? The bureaucratic interventions you have to minimize. Okay, the bureaucracy should focus to the administrations, law and order, and business activities and business things should be more simple and not intervened by the bureaucracy. That is the main aim of the government. I'm not criticizing anything, but overall objective is this. And that is the reason government started implementing so many policies like the one window clearance. Okay, because now you can apply in one windows, and that's a responsibility that one department is a responsibility to get the clearances from all the departments in the time bound manner. Because simply saying, why we are going to harass to the investors, okay, why they will come to me, why not I should go to them? So that's the approach government adopted, and the government is doing that. And it's true that if you are doing this, then only you are able to attract the private investor. And your motive develop develop on the basis of private investment. And since already you adopted capitalist pattern of development, then you have to do that. Okay. So just write few lines, imperative planning first. Okay. Imperative planning, right? In the imperative planning, the authority decides all aspects of planning. All aspects of planning. In the imperative planning, the authority decides all aspects of planning. Full stop, right? The government decides goal oblique objectives. The government decides goals oblique objectives and uses its agencies to achieve them full stop, right? The government responsible for success and for the failure. The government responsible for success and for the failure, because government deciding everything, right? It is also known as planning by direction or command. It is also known as planning by direction or command. Okay, full stop, right? One central authority decides all. One central authority decides all. Clear? One central authority decides all. Full stop, right? It is rigid in nature. Imperative. It is rigid in nature. Why rigid? Because once it is made and already implemented, then government, they don't prefer to change it between this period. Take the example of 5-year practice. Once government decided, implemented, they are continuing for the next 5 years. They are not going to change it. It's very rigid in nature. Okay, fine, right? It is rigid in nature and generally practiced in socialist countries. Generally practiced in socialist country. Socialist country. Clear? Right. To some extent, full stop, right? To some extent, up to 7 5-year plans. To 7 5-year plans. 7 5-year plans. Close to this type of planning. Close to this type of planning. Clear, dear? Now, next you write induced plan. Sorry, imperative planning, indicative planning. Indicative planning, you write. It is adopted in capitalist. It is adopted in capitalist countries. It is adopted in capitalist countries where private sector plays, private sector contributes, just right, contributes, where private sector contributes significant role or participate in main economic activities of the country, or participate in main economic activities of the country. Main economic activities of the country. Okay, right. The state prepares a national plan. The state prepares a national plan which is a vision document, and private sector is encouraged. I am taking the whole sector as a one private sector, and private sector is encouraged and facilitated, facilitated to achieve the objectives, facilitated to achieve the objectives of the plan. Right. With the introduction of the economic reforms in 1991, discussion already I done it. I've just discussed you, so you just write. When the introduction of the economic reforms in 1991, with the introduction of the economic reforms in 1981, comma, indicative planning was in demand. Full stop, right? It was introduced in 8th 5-year plan. Full stop. Under this plan, the private sector was given a substantial role or significant role in main economic activities of the country. Okay, main economic activities of the country. Fine. Full stop. State means government, right? State of the government changed their role from controller and regulator to facilitator. Okay, full stop. Right. Clear. These things you have to remember. Indicative means now you changed your role and you given a substantial responsibility to the private sector under the indicative planning. Indicative means okay, the government will develop all the infrastructure, government will give all the facilities. They will indicate you okay, it is a target, and giving the target goal it's they decided, and now they are facilitating you to achieve this target. That is the ultimate aim. But under the indicative planning, the government is not going to intervene in each and every stage. The freedom you have, yes, you can attend it, you can change, adopt the technology, adopt the methodology which suits you. That is that government is not going to intervene. Okay. Yeah, direction they can give you. They can give you this is the direction, not the objective they can give you. You have to achieve like industrializations, government wants, this is the objective. And government is started giving you so many incentive facilities, the different programs like Startup India program, Stand Up India programs, okay, MSME programs, and they are saying just you take the benefits, achieve this target. So in this way you have to take, okay, indicative planning. Fine. Now next is the centralized plan. Next is centralized plan, and you can say decentralized plan. So in the bracket I have written yesterday is centralized plan. The bracket we have written that Planning Commission and decentralized the Niti Aayog. Why we have written like this? Because if you see the nature, the way Planning Commission worked, so it was centralized planning in nature. And why it is so? Because the Planning Commission used to, suppose here is the central authority is there, and who was the central authority? Planning Commission? So Planning Commission was formulating the plan and implementing the plan to different states, clear? And from different states, it is going to local areas, yeah, local areas. You can take like this, local areas. So basically, you are implementing the plan, making the plan and implementing to different states. So plan direction was like this. Plan direction was this. Like this. The central government is formulating at that level, formatting the plan, implementing to the states, and through the state level, now it's going to the different part of the state. That is a local level. So this nature of planning is known as centralized plan. Central authority used to do, and the Planning Commission worked in this way. So this is the centralized planning concept. But just take decentralized planning, just opposite of this. Why opposite of this? Because different villages, in different villages, clear? You take this. Basically, planning process, plan formulation is start in decentralized planning, start from the village one. And in village level or panchayat level, the issues discussed, what are the issues they are facing, okay, and also it is asked to them to give me suggestions. Remember dear, one thing you remember, everyone, you are staying somewhere, okay, where you are staying or where you stay, basically that particular area is facing some local problems. It is true. I'm not asking local problem, political and other things. Forget about this. It is not the part of, I mean, this one. Political problems may be there, but I'm talking about development issues, economic issues, social issues. Okay, so you remember, actually, yeah, one more thing you add. Economic policies outcome is only possible if social environment they are getting it. If society provides better environment, conducive environment, then only you can expect the higher economic growth and development. Only you can expect the policy is going to be effectively implemented and you are getting the output. If society is not cooperating, then we can't get the outcome. So you have to think two ways. In the local areas, where society, different societies you are getting, basically different culture you are getting. Okay, so the policies what you are discussing and you are going to implement, that policy must suits the society, or society must provide the conducive environment. So it must be the first. Also this priority, this issue you also include while making the policy and programs. And it is also true that the day you are not able to solve the local issues and local problems, you are not able to develop that area. And if local issues you are not able to develop, then what is the state? State is the aggregation of all the local areas, and all the states aggregate is your nations. So if you really want to develop your nations, you have to start from the local areas. And decentral and in local where you are staying, yeah, one point what I was saying, trying to say, where you stay here, definitely each and every area is facing some issue. What is the exact issue and what should be solution, you are only knowing that. The authority or the plan formulation, they are sitting at the above level. They can't understand the local issue. Yeah, if that authority is going through these local areas, they are aware about the local issues, local problems, then the upper layer they can take the decisions. And that's the reason the senior bureaucrats, they easily take the decisions. Yeah, oh, particular this area. Our discussing ATI chairperson, sir. One. So where I am from, which area I am, sir was informed that I knowing that area. So suppose it's happening that where you are, if the higher bureaucrats level, senior bureaucrats level, if they are knowing the each and every, because they are going through this point, so they are aware about that, they can take the better decisions. But suppose someone you imported from the upper layer and you're asking them, you make the plan, so the plan made by them, they can't feel and can't think about what are the local issues. So there is always a lag behind this. So decentralized planning says that these are the local areas, village level or panchayat level. If you start planning process from these points and then aggregate at the district level, suppose different districts you are integrating from here, okay, and then from district you are reaching to the state, and from the different states then you are making the plan. So planning process is starting from here, from the local bodies. Local bodies is starting the planning, and then you are reaching to the state level, then you are reaching to the state level. If you are going through this, then you are making the plan, then definitely it is going to work at the ground level, and then you can see the effectiveness of the plan and policies. So if you think about the conceptual one, the centralized planning and the decentralized planning, then no doubt decentralized planning is going to be more effective, because it is going to solve at the ground level issues. It is going to also, the plan is going to be implemented as per the social requirement, because you have included already. And who participating in this village level or panchayat level? The participants are local citizens, public representatives, local government officials, local businessmen, and other officials also too. They are helping to formulate them. Definitely, this plan is going to be very effective. And that's the difference between the decentralized plan and centralized plan. So if you see, the planning commissions worked through this, okay. So I'm not saying a planning commission did nothing, but so many, whatever things today you are getting, all are the outcome, you can say it's due to the planning commissions. Okay. Niti Aayog just started working this now. Okay, just started working, and the major part they spent in the pandemic. So let us wait, they will do that. But till now, your green revolution, you take the example, the service sector development, you take the example, increase in per capita income, decrease in poverty level. Yeah, you can just say it's due to the planning commissions. But in around 66 years of planning, we are not able to just solve all the issues, okay, that I will discuss. So maybe due to one of the reasons. Okay, today India is among the neighbor countries is the there is the highest inequality, income inequality in India among your neighbor nations. So these two are. So Niti Aayog is constituted. It was constituted on 1st January 2015. Okay, and Niti Aayog replaced the planning commission. So Niti Aayog, the main objective is decentralized planning. And it's true that the 3 action agenda formulated, I know that time before formulations, they asked different persons, openly they asked, you want to give any suggestions, issues and anything, we are going to, so many people, we are knowing that, I'm knowing so many people, they suggested and that part included. And they called a meeting at the Gram Panchayat and village level, and they discussed the local issues and they tried to include it. Okay. So I'm not saying in the one time you can solve all the issues at the same time. It takes time, but process should start in this way. So today Niti Aayog is working in this way, decentralized, and earlier we can say centralized. This is the concept behind it, and that's the reason we put it in the bracket. Centralized planning means planning commission, decentralized means Niti Aayog, but does not mean centralized means planning commission, decentralized means Niti Aayog. No, the way of working, on that day we have just put in the bracket. Clear? Please write here all. Centralized planning, right? In this planning, entire process of plan formulation and implementation In this planning, entire process of plan formulation and implementation are in the hands of central planning authority, full stop, right? The central planning authority prepares the plan. The central planning authority prepares the plan and implement to entire country, Full stop, right? This planning is also known as top down approach. This planning is known as top down approach or top to bottom approach. Top down approach or top to bottom approach. Just see, from top you are going to the bottom one. Clear? Top down approach or bottom, top to bottom approach. Clear? Right, next, decentralized planning. Decentralized planning. Right. All decisions related to formulation and implementation. All decisions related to formulation and implementations are taken at grassroots level. Institutions, grassroots level institutions like village oblique panchayat, you can write village oblique panchayat. Okay, full stop, right? It is also known as planning from below. It is also known as planning from below. It is also known as planning from below or bottom up approach. You are starting from here and then you are going to the upper layer. So bottom up approach. Okay. It is also known as bottom up approach. Okay, full stop, right? The main stakeholders in plan formulation. The main stakeholders in plan formulation are common citizen, comma, administrative units at different levels, comma, elected representatives, and local businessman, etc., etc., and collective decisions are taken. Okay. Yes, dear. Just check. Clear? First, second, third, fourth. Okay. Fine. Next is rolling plan. Rolling plan. This plan basically it's implemented by Janata Party government. Okay, you are knowing that in 1977 Janata Party came in power. Congress lost the power. when Janata Party came in power, so Janata Party government implemented a plan in 1978. Okay, and the rolling plan nature was what is, and rolling plan is given by economist, which is known as Gunnar Myrdal. So Gunnar Myrdal given this concept of rolling plan, and particularly this plan was suggested, plan was made for the developing country. Okay, so Gunnar Myrdal given this concept, and rolling plan says that you make a plan, no doubt first plan you have to make, then every next plan will be on the basis of performance of previous plan. Like you are just taking roll now, egg roll, chicken roll like this, or you can say paneer roll like this. So what you are rolling? You are rolling now basically. So when you are rolling this, what is happening? Once you roll, so every next layer is going on the previous layer. Take from this. Every day you are using this. So rolling plan means when you roll, and here rolling means what? Okay, that's you are making next year plan on the basis of, or formulating next year plan on the basis of previous year plan performance. Then you just keeps rolling on, and it is known as a rolling plan. So basically, Janata Party government formulated and implemented plan for next 5 years, but it was a rolling plan. Every year they are going to make the plan, but on the basis of the previous year plan. First year they implemented, but next year, depending on the performance, then they can decide. That is a rolling plan. But in 1980, the Congress came in power again. So they terminated this plan. Clear? So this plan only continued from 1980 to 1978 to 1980, 2 years. Clear? Just write to all. Rolling plan. Okay. Right. The plan, right? This plan, this concept was given by Gunnar Myrdal. This concept was given by Gunnar Myrdal. It refers to the rolling of a plan. It refers to the rolling of a plan at intervals of 1 year. Normally you can write at intervals of normally 1 year. That is new plans for every year. That is new plans for every year. New plans for every year. Full stop, right? It is generally based on the performance of previous year plan. It is generally based on the performance of previous year plan. Okay, full stop, right? Rolling plan was introduced in India. Rolling plan was introduced in India by the Janata Party government. In 1978. And continued till 1980. Okay, clear? Fine. Now, so you have seen that major 5 types of plan we have discussed because these are used in Indian economy. Prospective, the imperative plan, indicative planning, rolling planning, centralized planning, decentralized planning. Now we are going to discuss some of the plan, but these are based on the time period. Till now, all the plans what we have discussed, these are classified on the basis of nature of plan. These are classified on the basis of nature of plan. But now we are going to discuss these are classified on the basis of time period. Like one you can say prospective plan. and perspective plan is known as long-term plan. Long-term plan. Second, you can say it's a medium-term plan. Medium-term plan. And third one, we can say short-term plan. Short-term plan. Short-term plan. Okay? So, three types of, these are the basis of the class, these are the classified on the basis of time period. Okay? So, when you are saying perspective plan means you are talking about long-term plan. Yeah, long-term plan. And long-term plan, you can say when you formulate any plan, for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 25 years, then you can say it's a perspective plan and long-term plan. And on the good example, you can see SDG, Sustainable Development Goal. One of the good example is SDG, Sustainable Development Goal. Okay, you are knowing that 2015 United Nations implemented the plan in the entire nations. Okay, SDG, Sustainable Development Goal, and this SDG plan is for the 15 years. It is started from 2015, continued in 1930. 15 years. Before that, MDG was the Millennium Development Goals, that was also for 15 years. So these type of plan considered or come under the category of the perspective plan or long-term plan. When you're talking about medium-term plan, it means the plan is like 3 years, 5 years. These are known as the medium-term plan. But medium-term plan is a means to achieve the target of long-term plan. Clear? And what is short-term plan? Annual plan. Annual plan is known as the short-term plan. So basically you think is short-term plan or annual plan is formulated keeping in mind the medium-term plan and long-term plan. So clear hai? Clear to all? Now implications and use in the Indian economy. Fine. So you are knowing that planning Niti Aayog now, till now, but we don't know about the future, but till now, the Niti Aayog announced that they will formulate. I mean, why I'm using the will formulate? Because these two documents is under the process. One is the 15 years vision documents and 7-year strategy and 3 years action agenda. Okay. So 3 years action agenda you can see. So here 15 years vision documents, it means what? What is the Niti Aayog wants? Okay, suppose today India is here. So after 15 years, the target is to bring India at this point. So what they decided, okay, let us make 3 years action agenda, first, second, third, fourth one. So first 3 years you want to bring India from here to here. Then in next 3 years you want to bring India from here. Next 3 years from here to here. Next 3 years here to here. And then finally in next 3 years you want to bring India to here to here. So that's the 15 years you are targeting. Then 15 years was, it is your vision to see your India at this point. So it is known as the vision documents also, or sometimes known as it's a blueprint. Why blueprint? Because when you go for the construction of a particular building, maybe any story building, you have to make first blueprint, and then blueprint, according to blueprint, you are developing yours. So this is there. So 3 years is the action agenda. Why it is known as the action agenda? Because actually you are acting for 3 years directly, and what you want to achieve the target. And 7-year strategy, they are saying that yes, the 7-year we can make the strategy. These two documents is under the process. Strategy means that when you are going to implement anything, you have to adopt a strategy. Okay. So you have to follow some strategy to implementation of the plan for 7 years. If you think this strategy is working or not, you review it, and the next you can go accordingly. So these 3 types of plan basically planning. 3 years action agenda already formulated and implemented. Time is over already completed, but most of the objectives, since due to the pandemic it was not achieved, the same objectives on the same thing still it's going on. But they are formulating the new plans. They may come at any day. Okay, so till not coming, we are just reading that same paper, same things, because if they are asking the question, they can ask. If new documents they will come, then we can just include this. So you can just like this. So here you can say 15 years is the long-term plan. Clear? Right, please. Prospective plans, you write. Prospective plans are long-term plan. Prospective plans are long-term plans, and long-term plan, and it represents the broad development target. It represents the broad development target that need to be achieved in long term. That need to be achieved in long term. That need to be achieved in long term. In long term. Okay. Let's stop right. A prospective plan can be prepared for 10 years. A prospective plan can be prepared for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, etc. 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, etc. Right. It is primarily a blueprint. It is primarily a blueprint of a broader development goals of the country. Of a broader development goals of the country. Clear? Now write the medium term plan. Okay, already I discussed here. So write medium term plan. It can be a 3-year plan or a 5-year plan. It can be a 3-year plan or 5-year plan. It can be a 3-year plan or a 5-year plan. Okay, full stop right. These 5-year plans are prepared within the long-term perspective. Within the long-term perspective. Within the long-term perspective. Okay, right. These are the plans through which the objectives of prospective plan, plans can be achieved. Objectives of prospective plan can be achieved. Okay. Now next you write short-term plan. That is the third one. Short-term plans. Right. These are annual plans. Full stop right. These are prepared keeping in mind. Both the medium term and the long term perspectives. They are prepared keeping in mind both the medium term and the long term perspectives. Okay. So just I discussed okay, these plans are formulated keeping in mind the medium term and long term both. Clear here? Okay. So these measure the types of program and plans what we used or we are using. That part we have discussed. Here, when you are going to read the topics or articles related to planning, you may get some of the words. And but don't take in the very different way. Just take very simple one. Like you can get a structural plan. I'm giving you example. A structural plan. Sometimes you can get the financial plan or financial planning. Sometimes you get the functional plan. Etc. like this. So just smartly you handle all these words. Okay. Plan, you are knowing the concept, plan or planning, that you can easily understand it. Only the matter is the first word, like structural plan. So what do you mean by structural plan? So if you are making or formulating a plan that is going to change the existing structure of the institutions or existing structure of the economy, simply you can say it's a structural plan because you are going to change the existing structure. And for that you are formulating plan that is known as a structural plan, simple in one line. Financial planning, you are saying, yeah, financial planning means related to the fund. So you made the plan, but now you are planning or you're doing how to allocate and how much to allocate to different activities, to different program and policies. So this plan is known as financial plan or financial planning. Like budget is one of the example where government decides how much money I have to allocate. So words you try to understand, and planning you are knowing that. Just add this, you can easily understand what is the meaning of this, and you can use it also, these words. Functional plan. Functional plan means whatever the setup you have, you don't want to change that structure, just you want to function it. Okay, like 66, 69, you implemented the plan, but just was the annual plan you made, just anyhow we can continue this. So suppose you planning, because if you are running an institutions, you are running a country, you need the plan. So you are making the just to run the country, and just as it is function the country, so that plan is known as the functional planning. So word is, you understand the first word, you should know the concept of planning, add it, you can explain yourself, dear. You can explain yourself, build up confidence. You are knowing each and see, first day always I say to all the students, economics is a subject each and everyone in this economy, in this world, they are knowing that. They are knowing that. You start from the first class till now, most of the things we are knowing, we are aware about that. But what we are doing here, we are just trying to put the concept in very academic way, so that we can write an exam. That we are doing that. If you go and ask any person to whom you are assuming he never visited a school, ask this person, you tell me, if the price of the product or price of the vegetables, say onions, potatoes, is going up, what you will do? They will tell you, I will demand relatively less. Ask them, if price is going to fall very low, like today it's happening, what you are doing? Just you ask them. When potato was around 40 rupees per kg, every day how much you are demanding? And when it's around 16-17 rupees kg, how much you are demanding? They will tell you, okay, now I am demanding more. So aloo paratha, vegetables, there's so many things they are doing that. So dear, they are knowing the law of demand. They are able to explain it. Yes, when price will go up, I will demand less. When price is going to fall, I will demand more. But asking what is law of demand, then they will tell you, okay, no, I never visited a school, so I can't say you. But you understand this thing. We have the concept. But when you're going to write in the exam, how they will ask? So you have to use one word, even they don't know. Okay, when you're relating this demand and price and demand, you have to say other things remaining same. Some modifications, some basic informations, you do use it basic information, some modification you do, put this in very academic way. What I need, we need it for exam. So it's a very normal one. Don't take the subject is very tough and like this. It's a very normal and very easy subject. Clear? So all this clear, dear? Okay, remember. So now we are going to for the strategy or models of plan. Clear? Sorry, let me check the questions from your side. I think one of you sent me one question, and okay. Biswajit, sorry, I'm just saying your question. Okay. Because I intentionally I wanted, let us go to the some extent, then I will open your that because once I can see the questions what you're asking, so I can't stop myself basically. Yeah, as I promise you, you try to ask the questions if the topic either we completed or we are completing this. And basically you ask, are self-help groups a part of decentralized plan? Self-help group is the economic agent, you can say that. They can better understand the local need, the group's need, they can associate with the different persons, and then they are taking the action. Yes, you can say that. But it's we are talking about the planning, the plan you are going to formulate, and this is the action what you are taking it. Okay, so even in the today, the if you go to the self-help groups, they are really very one of the good things. Earlier, the micro banks, small banks were funding. Now large banks they started they started lending to these groups because return is really very good because you can better understand the persons to whom you are giving the loan. So you can take in that different way. It's action you are doing that. Okay. How make a difference in the field as working remains as it is same as centralized and decentralized? Uh, Sorry, I think Biswajit, what you're trying to say, dear, by your number is same, so I'm thinking you send these questions. How make a difference in the field as working remains as it is the same as centralized and decentralized? You understand what we are trying to say, you dear. Centralized means it is the way of formulation of plan, particularly formulation of plan, and also implementations. Why implementation? I am telling you because you are saying just implement this. Okay, central government implementation. So implementation part, there may be some mix of these two concepts, but as far as formulation is concerned, it's matter for us. Okay. So if you start making from the bottom level, then only you are going to make the effective plan possible, which is going to be effective even at the ground level. And you are able to solve the ground level, then only you are going to achieve the higher economic growth and development, the whole nations, otherwise not. Take it here. Okay. Now we are going for your next topic is your models or strategy. Models. So basically at the central level, we used three models. One is known as Harrod, Domer model. Second one we are saying it's a PC Mahalanobis or PC Mahalanobis is also known as Nehru Mahalanobis model. Nehru Mahalanobis model. And third one is known as LPZ model, or it is also known as Rao Manmohan model. Rao Manmohan model. Clear? So, Harrod-Domar model is what? Harrod is the name. One is the Harrod-Domar model. That's Harrod-Domar model was implemented in first 5-year plan. In first 5-year plan. So, first 5-year plan was based on Harrod-Domar model. Harrod-Domar model. Okay, and yes, and question several times it is asked in the PT paper. Okay, the first 5-year plan based on which model? So it is a Harrod-Domar model. I'm telling you what is the model is there. PC Mahalanobis model, or it is known as a Nehru Mahalanobis model. PC Mahalanobis model basically, I mean this is second 5-year plan is based on PC Mahalanobis model. But let me tell you one thing. If you go and read the standard economic development books like that, international level, so Mahalanobis model is never considered as the growth and development model. Clear? But yes, if you read the Indian economy books, so once it will come Indian planning, so Mahalanobis model must be there. That is discussed. Actually, the Mahalanobis was the architect of second 5-year plan, and they followed the strategies, or they followed the strategy just on the basis of USSR pattern. Okay, and the vision for this is given by Pandit Nehru or Pandit Nehruji. So this model is known as PC Mahalanobis model, Prasanta Chandra Mahalanobis, or it is also known as Nehru Mahalanobis model because vision was given by the Pandit Nehruji and architect was PC Mahalanobis. Okay, so PC Mahalanobis, okay, so these two are known as. So, and third one, that is in 1991 onward, the second 8th 5-year plan is based on LPG model. L stands for liberalization, P stands for privatization, G stands for globalization. So it is known as the LPG model. When this model was implemented, who implemented? To that time, P.V. Narasimha Rao was the Prime Minister. P.V. Narasimha Rao was the Prime Minister and Dr. Manmohan Singh was the Finance Minister. So it is the reason that this model is also known as Rao Manmohan model. It is also known as Rao Manmohan model. Clear? Now, what are the basic things of this model? Only the concept we know it, because they are on the basis of concept they are framing the question. And just 2 years back, if you within 1-2 years you can see the mains question. One question was framed on the basis of this. Okay. And I will tell you first. So what is the SD model? See, implication part only I will discuss. I'm not, that's first day I just discussed with you. Okay, I'm not going to put everything in very pure academic way. Clear? So the implication part we are going to discuss because they are asking the implication part, and that is important for us. Because if we start reading the development models like this, then we are not able to complete our syllabus, and it's not a requirement of the exam. So there are so many things we have to read in economics, but we are focusing only those areas that is very important for our exam purpose. And the questions they are framing in this. See, what we are doing, we are trying to know only those things that is important for our exam. But for knowledge wise, information wise, there is no limit. You can read anything. Okay. So you do that, but after your exam. Here you focus to what is your requirement. Okay. So what is Harrod-Domar model says that both now I'm not going to the model. First you understand what I will just connect you. We have discussed in the class investment is very important factor. Okay, and if you're investing in the country, then investment is going to increase or going to work in both the ways or two ways. One, it is going to increase aggregate demand in the country, and the other, it is going to increase the production potential in the country. I given you example in the class, clear? Okay, suppose you are going to invest 10,000 crores in economy in a particular fiscal year. So what exactly you are going to do? Let us consider you are going to open a hospital in a particular state. So the moment you're going to develop a new hospital, it means construction of new hospital, everything you are completing. So you are demanding every raw materials for the building purpose, all the inputs what you need for the hospital services purpose, like OT equipments, the bed and other refrigerator, so many things you need to demand. So basically once you complete the hospital, so the total demand for goods and services created is 10,000 crores. That's the reason I'm telling you. Increase in investment is going to increase aggregate demand for goods and services in the country. So once aggregate demand has increased, now once hospital completed, then that hospital, new hospital which is added in your stock of already you have hospitals. So due to new hospitals this hospital can serve extra persons. Suppose you had the two hospital or you has the two hospitals at this moment. So each hospital serving capacity say 5,000 per person, per day, 5,000 person they can serve. Okay, it's a huge amount, but you can take example. So you have the only provide health services to 10,000 persons. If new hospital added, and this hospital also has the potential to serve 5,000 more persons, so total potential it's created is 15,000. So that is the reason I'm telling you, investment is going to work in two ways. One, it is going to increase your aggregate demand, and other is going to increase your, production potential. Clear? So yes. So what you are getting that? An increase in production potential means increase in productions. Increase in production is going to increase your employment, income of the economy, consumptions, savings. So you are able to achieve the higher economic growth and development. So ultimately you can say that investment is requirement for the economy. Harrod-Demmer model just going to one step behind this. They are saying that investment is needed, fine, but for investment we need the resource, and that resource they focus to the saving. Yeah. So they are saying that we have to increase savings. Okay, so saving is the factor because savings is going to decide the investment. Clear? So first part you just think he is focusing more on the savings. We have to increase the saving rates. The moment you are able to increase the savings rates, then only the resources is going to increase in the economy for investment, and then only we are able to increase our investment. And you go and see the first 5-year plan, the focus was given to increase the rate of savings. Clear? And they are saying at equilibrium, saving must be equal to investment. And they are also saying if there is increase in saving, say delta S amount, then your investment will also increase delta I amount, and these two will be equal. So basically he focused on the Harrod-Demmer focused on the savings, and from savings is coming to investment. And you are knowing investments we needed it. So just 2-3 years back, if you see the mains questions, mains question I am talking about, paper 3, the first question was the saving is one of the component for higher, growth and development. What are the other components you discuss? So also discuss. So you have to say really saving is how saving is going to contribute in economic growth and development, and then at the same time you have to add other factors. This question was framed on this topic. So simply you can just say that. Why? At equilibrium, why it is going to be equal? Because you just assume, suppose I am bank. So how can you define the bank? Bank is a financial intermediaries which stands between ultimate borrowers and ultimate lenders. Who is lenders? The person who are saving. For banks, who is lending? Who is giving the money? The households. Household basically giving money to me. Suppose I am bank, and this money I am lending to the other persons. And let us consider this lending is mainly for investment. So if I am not receiving, how can I lend it? So if I want to increase investments, if I want to lend more, I must receive more money, more savings. So saving is the source of investment. Simple in one line. Okay, if you take in the different way, then saving is nothing but it is also known as or you can consider it is the supply of funds. So saving is also known as the supply of funds, and investment is known as demand for funds. Because you're demanding funds for investment and you're supplying funds. So saving is the supply of funds, investment is demand for fund. What do you mean by equilibrium? So equilibrium I discussed already, where demand is equal to supply. So here we are talking about the overall country's investment, and we are talking about the overall savings in the country. When these two are equal, means economy is at equilibrium. This is the point. At equilibrium, saving must be equal to investments, because how much you are supplying the fund in the economy, that must be equal to the demand for the fund, and then only you can say it is at equilibrium. If there is increase in saving amount, so that much investment should also go up, and these two will be again equal. So we can say we are growing. So what you are getting for higher economic growth and development, you have to increase savings, then investment, then only you can achieve this. Second point, they are saying that yes, fine, if your investment increasing, if there is increase in investment, and this increase in investment you are knowing is can increase the aggregate demand in the country, and aggregate production potential, you can say, is going to increase the production potential. So it is again the one more things they are added it in this situation. On this case, number one, if your aggregate demand increases more than increase in PP means production potential, more than production potential, then that leads to excess demand, and this excess demand leads to higher inflation, and your country is going to deviate from the path of higher economic growth and development. Your country is deviating from the path of higher economic growth and development. When there is increase in, because increase in investment is going to increase both. One, there is increase in aggregate demand, and also there is increase in production potential. But if your increase in aggregate demand is more than increase in production potentials, then ultimately it's going to create excess demand, and that excess demand leads to higher inflation. Second part, if your increase in aggregate demand is less than increase in production potential, then what will happen? You created production potentials, but there is a lack of demand, aggregate demand. So you are not able to utilize your investment amount. You are not able to utilize your capital. If it is the condition, so next time you are going to cut down your investments, or you are not prepared to go for investment. So your aggregate demand again started decreasing. Output is going to affect employment. So dynamism in the economy you are not able to continue. So again you are deviating from the higher economic growth and development. So what is the condition? The condition is that third, it should be increase in aggregate demand must be equal to increase in production potential. If this third condition is fulfilling, then only you can expect higher economic growth and development, otherwise not. Okay. Can you give me 1 minute, please? Yes, dear. So, is it clear to all? Fine. So, third condition must prevail. That is a economy always focus if they are going for investment, saving to investment, then you come. If you are there going for investment, make sure that the increase in aggregate demand in the country must be equal to the production potential of the country, because then you are only going to meet the demand which is created in the country. Clear? देखो यहाँ तक clear है this to all? One questions it was okay. One question it was asked in 2015. Okay, 2015. First you write the question. Okay, and please try attempt it, because what you are learning you try to write it, and very simple they are asking, right? It was asked in 2015 in paper 3, right? Success of Make in India program, depends on the success of Skill India program, and radical labor reforms, okay, radical labor reforms. But remember, 2015 is 2022. No, 23. Sorry, it's 23 because we entered the January. So a long gap. So meanwhile, what's happened? Labor reforms already central government has done it. Okay, they come out with the new labor code. So yes, labor reforms already complete, but 2015 it was pending. So they related with that. Okay, maybe due to these reforms. Okay, but you understand one thing, how they are asking the questions. So the topic what we are going to complete, you start writing something on the topic. But first I request you just go through first the commission's questions, see the pattern, how they are asking, and accordingly you start your preparations. Okay. So just write success of Make in India program depends on the success of Skill India program and radical labor reforms. Clear? Write in inverted comma all the statement, and simply they write discuss with logical arguments. Simple, discuss with logical arguments. See dear, now trend is not to ask a particular policy. No, they are not asking the particular policy. Why? Because they are not asking the particular policy. Earlier, suppose if you are going for 6-7 years, 7-8 years back, then question maybe they can ask, here's what is the Skill India policy, what is the Make in India policy, what are the main provisions, write it like this. But today now they are asking the implication based questions. Just see that what they are asking, if you want to get Make in India success, then you have to get success in these two policies, then only you are able to get it. So even you are knowing the policies, but if you are not able to connect, you are not able to apply this, what you know, then we can't write the question like this. And this is the trend. I will just show you some the questions as a topic wise, then you will get it. Yes, related to this. So my only one question is here. Always I ask, okay, Okay, just this is the question asked in 2015, but you add one more point, and what is the point? The point is your uh, smart city. Yeah, smart city. You just write side. You write side. लिख लेना smart city program. If you write the smart city program, and then if I am asking you, after considering all the 4 programs, can we relate is still Harry-Domar model is relevant? Just after getting this concept, because they can ask to relate. Okay, they can ask it, they can relate. So you can prepare yourself. So if you know something, don't put in the lines only. Understand it, start using it. Okay, start connecting this. So just you are first, as per the questions, you are knowing that Make in India. So please, all the 3 programs, why I given you, because as you start reading things. So you can go to the online Ministry of, you can just write the Make in India program, PIB. I mean, that's your skilled program, Skill India program, PIB. Just write the PIB is the Public Information Bureau. Basically, if government announcing any policy, then they are must publishing, they are must going through the PIB. The announcement is through this. So what are the relevant informations? What are the main requirement for these exams? These all are there in detailed form, So start collecting from there. Don't depend on a particular, the concise notes. Okay, you make your own notes. First you read, understand it, make your own notes. Then summarize it. What is your requirement? The provisions, the aim, the objectives. Summarize it. Okay. And when you are going to put, when you are going to just going through this policy and programs, always you just, I also inform, again I am telling you, before going this, you ask 3 questions and try to write these questions, answer yourself. Suppose you are going to read the Make in India program. So first you ask, what is Make in India program? What are the issues so a Make in India program was introduced? And how the Make in India is going to solve the issue? In this way, you keep preparing and reading all the program and policy of the government. I promise you will never miss any questions. So like this questions, what it is asked, simply you can say like Make in India program, you read this from the PIB in detail. It is there online. Okay. So Make in India program basically based on 4 pillars. But here for these questions, what is the requirement is under Make in India, main target also is industrialize the country, particularly manufacturing base. They have to increase, they want to increase. Okay, manufacturing base. And not only manufacturing is the only objective. In Make in India, you read manufacturing, services and infrastructure. All these 3 are the objectives. But yeah, particular is manufacturing, but all these 3 are there. 25 industries, 25 sectors were selected under this Make in India program. So simply, what is the ultimate aim? 25 industries we have to develop, then only we are able to just create a strong industrial base in the country. Ultimate aim. Now, this 25 industries selected in this sector and the Make in India program, but these 25 industries need a special kind of skilled person. You understand this? A special kind of a skilled person. We are saying that India has population dividend. Population dividend means what? We have more populations or more percentage of population under the working age group. But dear, you ask yourself, if you are in the working age group, then can you say you are productive? No. So these 2 are different things, dear. You may be in the working age group, but you may not be the productive if you are not the skilled. Yeah, if you take the overall economy, we are lacking this. So that's the reason we are not able to get the population dividends. Yeah, it is one of the part. Second, also we have failed to create the opportunities. It is also true. So where we need it, accordingly we have to add and we have to explain. So here what you are saying that under Make in India, 25 industries were chosen, and these 25 industries need a special kind of labor, skilled labor. Okay, skilled labor, semi-skilled labor like this. And this is only possible if your Skill India program is going to get success. Why? Because if you are able to develop the skilled people, if you are able to make, you are just going to make available the skilled persons in the economy, then only these industries will get labor as per their requirement, and they can grow and they can develop. Okay, so many industries you are knowing they are not operational. Why? Because the labor requirement, what the labor, the types of labor they need, they are not getting it. Okay, so you have to supply the required labor, skilled labor to concerned industries. It is only possible if Skill India program is going to get success. Okay, so what you are getting, success of Skill India program, success of Make in India is only possible if success of Skill India program is there. Now, third point, you say, even the laborers are there, skilled laborers are there, and you open your factory, you are going to hire the labor. Then what is the problem between these two? The labor law. So if you take the labor law earlier, before your amendment, it was very rigid. Labor reform, before your labor, it is really very rigid. And it was pro to the labor, but it was just, I'm talking about the capitalist point of view. Okay, so it was not pro to the industry. Okay, so they wanted a flexible labor law. Okay, flexible labor law. So without bringing the flexible labor law, it's not possible to attract the investors and get the success of Make in India program. So that is the reason. Simple they asked. Yes, to get the success of Make in India program, the Skill India program and labor reforms, we need it. Just you connect it, just discuss it. Clear? Try to write it. But before writing, once you read Make India program, which is there on the online, Skill India program and labor reforms. So don't read the, I mean, please don't read means you read it, but you read the rigidity in the labor law and why it was necessary to reform, and that is the reason the government of India reformed the labor law. Then you can relate this. Clear? I added one more things like the smart cities, and I'm asked if you add one more program, smart cities, then can we say that is still Harrod-Domar model is relevant? So yes, it's true. Still it is relevant, because Harrod-Domar model also says that aggregate demand investment should go up, but investment and relationship between AD and production potential must match. Your aggregate demand must go up according to the production potential. Okay, so now if Make in India is going to get success, you are going to increase the production potential in the factory, and this production potential is only going to utilize if demand is there. So a smart city means development of the city, and you are converting from now, I mean, city to a smart city. You need so many infrastructure, you need services, you need the manufacturing. Okay, so this, if you creating the potentials and you also creating the demand. Why? Because you are matching these two. So on this way we can relate and say still relevant. Yeah. And it's true that everywhere, that's when you are going to do for any business, always you think about the demand also. Clear here? Just stop till this point. I mean, for this topic, fine. And just write few lines. I think already I discussed with you. So you please remember these all points. Right. Just write. Give the heading. Give the heading, and you remember this. It is in the flow chart. I mean, this way. You already note it. So just write the first 5-year plan was based on. The first 5-year plan was based on the Harrod-Domar model. Okay, right. This strategy emphasized the role of This strategy emphasized the role of capital accumulations. In bracket you can write investments, accumulations, capital accumulation, bracket you can write investment in economic growth and development. In economic growth and development. In economic growth and development. Full stop, right? They emphasized on, already written, they emphasized their strategy. I mean, they emphasized on savings, because saving is the source of, saving is the domestic source of investment. Saving is the domestic source of investment. Okay, full stop, right? Any country who wants to increase investments in the country, any country who wants to increase investment, that country must increase savings, okay, full stop. Okay, and already I discussed with you this part, so you add it here and you can get all the concept. I think you already noted down when I was discussing with you. Now you write. They also emphasized on the dual character of investment. Full stop, right? First, it creates aggregate demand. And income, because you're knowing if there is increase in aggregate demand, output income, aggregate demand and income. And second, it augments the productive capacity of the economy, by increasing its capital stock. Clear? And after that, you please write in this way so that you can complete this concept. Clear? Someone sent me one question and you are asking, sir, what is radical labor? No radical labor. Labor is labor. So they use the word radical labor reforms. Radical, why they use reform, not labor. Radical labor reforms. Radical means the whole structure you are going to change. So that is the reason they use the word. Otherwise, just leave it. Just you assume it's a labor. A reform is the labor reforms. Because you understand, it's the second stage of reforms. And second stage of reforms is, or second generation of economic reforms. And this is directly going to hit the human life. Directly is going to hit. And that's the reason the earlier government was not implemented. Okay, only due to what? Okay, there is a protest we are going to get more from the normal citizens. Okay, even this government implemented, even the people, they are aware about that. They are getting information after few months, yes, because in the online they already passed it this, because that period was the pandemic one. So pandemic given the opportunity really to do so many things. Okay, but we don't need it, just simply it's happened, means happened. Okay, next you come to the PC Mahalanobis model. Second, PC Mahalanobis model. Clear? or you can say Nehru Mahalanobis model. Why? Because vision was given by the Pandit Nehruji, and architect was P.C. Mahalanobis. Okay, so architect was P.C. Mahalanobis, but I mean vision was given the Pandit Nehruji, so it's known as a Nehru Mahalanobis model also. What is P.C. Mahalanobis model? So don't consider it's a model, just you think about yourself. You consider, you can well understand. Suppose you are standing here. Suppose you are standing here. Domestic one. You are standing here. You know, you are thinking about the time period just after independence, 1956 around. Okay. So that time you had the limited resources, very limited resources. Just think. Limited resources. And your objective was industrialization. Industrialization. Objective was industrialization in the country. So you had that time, I'm talking about that time. Suppose you are here and you have the two-way, one first basic and heavy industries. Basic and heavy industries. Basic and heavy industries means machines and tool producing industries. Okay. Other is clear, just things. Yes, dear. Just think. Suppose you can divide all industries in two parts. One, you can say basic and heavy industries. And when you say basic and heavy industries, it simply means the industry or production units that producing the machines, tools, this. So machines and tools producing industries is known as the basic and heavy industries. Machines and tool producing industries is known as basic and heavy industries. Fine, dear? And consumer goods industries means the industry they are producing the consumer goods. Suppose you take car industry. So car industry you can say it's a consumer goods industry because output produced by car industries is finally it's demanded. But car producing in the car industry that producing car, they also purchase machines to produce the car. So machines they are using to produce the car, that machines producing industries are known as the basic and heavy industries. Clear? Now, let us consider you are standing here, you have options to choose the basic and heavy industries or consumer goods industries. Which industries you prefer to choose to get your industrialization? So, I am just taking the reverse one, opposite one. Suppose you are demanding, you are decided to go for the consumer goods industries. So, if you decided to go for the consumer goods industries, so one of the basic problems you are going to face. What is that? Because you had that time the limited resources and it was not possible to, okay, and limited resources also you had not potential to produce machines and tools. So if you are going to develop the consumer industries first, so for each and every unit you need the machines and tools. You need to buy from other countries. Yeah, you need to buy from the other countries. Okay. So when you are buying from this, you are going to buy from other countries. So always you are depending on other countries. So any fluctuation in that country is going to disturb your country. And to what extent? At what extent you are going to depend on other countries? Every time the machineries, equipment you are buying from other countries, and for that you need the foreign currency, then from where you can take the foreign currency to pay your dues. So dependency is there, dependency is there. So one of the strategy is develop first basic and heavy industry. So every time you are not going to take loan and not asking for every time, you are asking once. Once you are taking the loan or you are buying the technology, other things, and you are developing your basic and heavy industries. Once your basic and heavy industry is developed in your country, then for each and every unit of development, what you are developing and what the machineries, equipments you need, you can easily meet from the domestic production. Then only you are going to sustain in the future, and you are not depending on other country. So you are going to be the self-reliant, that is Atmanirbhar, what we are using this term. But Atmanirbhar Bharat is not the new policy. Atmanirbhar Bharat or self-reliant, that is a part of the earlier plan also. Even before economic reforms, it was the part of your planning in India. You understand this? So first to develop the basic and heavy industry, then you are going for consumer goods industries, and then you are going to achieve your target of industrialization. Then it is one of the good strategy. Good strategy. Because first you are creating the base potential in the countries to produce machines, equipments, tools, and once you develop the potential, then you are going to develop the consumer goods industries. And for each and every units, you can get it the machines, equipments from the industries you develop from domestically produced, and you can sustain in the future. So you are not going to depend on the future. I mean the other countries. But today is the problem is there. Today is the problem is there. And this dependency for the buying machineries, equipments, and other things from other countries and other issues, that is the created the problem in India. Today you can say we are facing the jobless economic growth, the higher current account deficit, for pressure on the foreign exchange, okay, low job opportunities created. We are not able to eradicate our poverty. So many problems are there in the Indian economy. That I will link you later on. Is it clear? So it's a basic strategy. Don't take this. You develop your basic and heavy industries from limited resources, and also you can take borrowing from international markets. You can borrow the international markets, you buy the technology others, and once you develop the basic and heavy industries, then you go for the consumer goods industry, and finally you are achieving the industrialization. The same strategy followed by the Mahalanobis model. Okay. Because Mahalanobis model followed the pattern of industrializations which happened in USSR. Just follow the USSR, the pattern. And if you are following the USSR pattern of development, so they followed the same way. Okay. So that's, we also followed the USSR pattern. And the vision of this given by the Pandit Nehru ji. Clear? So it is there. You understand it, but Mahalanobis model is known as it's failed in Indian economy. But if you just think from different way, just think from the different way, it's not necessary, and you can't say that Mahalanobis model failed. Okay, to some extent. Why? The reason is that you can get it. As far as basic and heavy industries is concerned, we already developed. You go and see and get the record, all basic and heavy industries except TISCO. TISCO is before independence, it's already developed. So after independence, you take all the basic industry that developed after independence. That was the objective and plan of the Mahalanobis model. Because second 5-year plan, you focused on the P.C. Mahalanobis model. Okay, architect was P.C. Mahalanobis. So aim was there, and second 5-year plan was the main objective was the industrializations. So all major industries, all heavy industries, basic industries, you develop, large scale industry you develop during that period or later on. But it started from that model. That was the objective, and you developed. Why we are saying Mahalanobis model failed? Because we failed to develop the consumer goods industries. Yeah, these industries we failed to develop. And reason is what? The strict control under the licensing Raj. Yeah, the strict control under the licensing laws. Because it is blamed that yes, license was one of the reason that we failed to develop the consumer goods industry, because The consumer goods industry allowed to develop in the private sector. But due to the strict regulations and the licensing provisions, these industries failed. And ultimately, we failed to industrialize our economy. Yeah, ultimately, we failed to industrialize our economy. And that is the reason, still today, we are facing the lack of industrializations. Lack of a strong industrial base, you can say. But we can't say no industry is there, it's again wrong. So you have to say there is a lack of a strong industrial base in the country. Still today you can see most of the machineries, equipments we are importing from other countries. The manufacturing base we fail to develop in the country. The most of the things we are importing from other countries. And that's always putting us dependent on some other countries. Okay. And we have the huge trade balance with the China also. So you understand that strategy. Please, I think this part you already noted, right? Few things. Right here, Professor P.C. Mahalanobis, who was the real architect, of the second five-year plan. Professor P.C. Mahalanobis, who was the real architect of the second five-year plan, was responsible for introducing a clear strategy. As just said, for introducing a strategy of development, based on the USSR pattern, of development. Okay, right. This strategy emphasized investment. Investment in basic and heavy industry. To achieve industrialization. Clear? Full stop. Just right. Since vision of this model, vision of this plan, ऐसे कर लो. The vision was given by Pandit Nehru ji. And architect of this plan was Mahalanobis, Professor Mahalanobis. Architect of this plan was Professor Mahalanobis. So it is also known as Nehru-Mahalanobis model. ठीक है dear, and just your flow chart को you just remember or write and please try to get it. Clear? देखो dear, you please write this flowchart and you link with this what I dictated to you. You can get the things clear. Now after this we go for the LPZ model. See, L stands for liberalization, just a minute. liberalization. P stands for privatization. And G stands for globalization. Just remember, liberalization means adopting liberal policies. Adopting liberal policies. Privatization means allowing private sector or private investors in main economic activities of the country. Globalizations means integrating the home country or domestic economy, integrating the domestic economy with rest of the world. Rest of the world. Yes, dear. Simple meaning, dear. Simple meaning. This model means this. When you say LPG model means L stands for liberalization, next is privatization, and third one is known as globalization. So liberalization simply means adopting liberal policies in all dimensions. Privatization means allowing private sector or investors in main economic activities of the country. You can see now we adopted, so we are allowing in all the dimensions the private sectors to come and invest, including educations, the health, the defense. Okay, so all economic activities you can just check that. Even defense we have allowed, ordnance factories given this. Globalization means integrating the domestic economy with the rest of the world. Yes, we are doing that. We adopted, we cut down the tariffs to some extent. Okay, we allowed the foreign investors to come invest in the country. For that, we have given so many incentives to them. So yes, we are integrating the domestic economy with the rest of the world. That is known as globalization. So please write a few lines. You have written this right here. Please write. The 8th 5-year plan. 8th 5-year plan. 8th 5-year plan. Eighth 5-year plan was based on LPG model. The 8th 5-year plan was based on LPG model. Okay, full stop, right? Under this plan, government adopted liberal policy, that is liberalizations, comma, privatization and globalization. Full stop, right? Government allowed private sector to participate in main economic activities of the country. Okay. And also adopted liberal policies towards trade, towards international trade, you can write towards international trade and foreign capital, international trade and foreign capital, and and allowed the foreign investors to invest in India and allowed the foreign investors to invest in India like like FDI, FI, FDI, FPI, you write FDI, FPI, etc. etc. Okay. So just see this policy we adopted in second 5-year plan, but this policy is still continuing today. Still we are going very aggressively, we are going nowadays. We are privatizing the main activities. Even it was earlier purely it was the government, but now we are started handing over. So privatization is the broader concept. Okay, and disinvestment is the within that. Disinvestment means the government sells their assets to some extent, okay, to the private parties. Okay, but still management they are holding it. So disinvestment, but privatization is it's a wider concept in the sense that when you're handing over management, then you can say it's a disinvestment. Privatizations. And when you are giving ownership also, this is the privatizations. So how you are just taking this depending on that. If you are giving the ownership also, you are giving the management also, so it means privatizing. But privatization also means that you are going to allow the private parties to participate, but it does not only mean participation means you can buy the government PSUs. No, the healthy competitions only it will be when the government and private parties both are acting in the economy. It will be good. Why? Because you are not allowing the private parties to create monopoly. Right now what is happening? The few industries started controlling all economic activities. Okay, so you have to think from the point of view of the economics and its implication in the overall country. Then only you can well understand it. But again, something we can say, we can write, but for exam purpose, discussion is okay, fine. But for exam purpose, always you take precautions. Okay, everything is fine, but criticize, avoid it. And any negative things, any negative thing, if you are getting in the policy and implications, always write in suggestive manner. Okay, always write in the very suggestive manner. This way, this approach we have to take. Okay, for this exam purpose. And if they ask about criticism, so your criticism will be maybe you write it, but in the different way that it looks, it's not the intention of the policy maker. Like one good things really I read in the recent few months back, our defense minister, he made a statement. That time, so many person was criticizing about Pandit Nehruji due to some reasons. But he made a statement, really I liked. Why? Because he made a statement, the policy may be wrong, but intention of the persons or intentions can't be wrong. You understand this word? The implication of this policy may be wrong, but what was the intention behind it can't be wrong. So the same things, we can't blame the intention behind it, and we should not discuss the intentions. Where is the problem in the policy? Say in this policy is this, so it should be modified or it should be considered. This way we have to write it. That should be our approach. Okay. So I think we can meet after the break. Okay. Thank you everyone.